One of the topics that I've been interested in for a number of years now is the topic of chimp human genome similarity. And a few years back, Jeffrey Tompkins of ICR did some work on this topic quite a bit, and he came with a radically different similarity, genetic similarity from chimps and humans than like many people and many other scientists, and maybe who have a more of an evolutionary framework of thinking. Um, so when he came out with this, there's a lot of times people were complaining about this, um, and saying, "Oh, it's fake, it's false," and blah 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 blah. Well, it came out a few years later, did it again. Other people looked at it as well, uh, try to fine tune it, because help the research become better. Um, and so I think like Robert Carter talked about it as well. Had some critique about it and helped make it a little better, whatever. So that's that. Well, then cut to 2025, we get this article that was published, and ICR and then talks about it here. The number one origin story of 2025, ICR, Dr. Jeff Tompkins chimp genome research vindicated, because so many people were critical of it. It talks about here research by ICR geneticist Dr. Jeff Tompkins was at the center of Origins News, and that is called the number one story of 2025. The prestigious Nature confirmed that the true genome-wide DNA similarity between humans and chimps are no more than 85% similar. That's totally different than the 98 to 99 similarity percentage. So this is quite often, and I'll show you where some sources that do still promote that 98, 99, or at least in the past have. Hopefully, a lot of places have updated that by now. I don't know, but it'd be good if they would. Um, so it's closer to 15% probably dissimilar than similar. And when you start hitting like if 84, 85, 86% similarity in your genome with some organism, the chances of that having any the chances of using that percentage as having a effect on saying that has a common ancestor becomes a lot more unbelievable. So Tompkins' research, the DNA comparison demonstrated that the 98, 99 similarity was attained by cherry picking genetic data known to be highly similar. As a result, in 2018, Tompkins' DNA comparison research confirmed by the conventional researchers using completely different methods. So these two guys, Tompkins and the researcher for Nature, had two totally different methods. Now, some will try to say that this is not a big deal, but for decades they've been alleged that the 1 or 2% similarity is a strong evidence for human chimp common ancestor. And then you jump over to our culture and science and culture today from Discovery Institute, and Luskin talks about very similar stuff. I know Luskin has reached out to Tompkins before. I know that. I don't think they really work together, but I know that he has reached out to him and said, "Hey, hey, I know Luskin has known about Tompkins' research for many years. Let's just put it that way." Um, but I think Luskin really likes it that it was confirmed by other sources as well. How many times have you heard said that human and chimp genomes are so similar they are only 1% different at the level of the DNA? Shows we were told not only that humans and chimps share common ancestry, but humans aren't that all special, with which is a common talking point in science journalism and other publications. Um, in fact, Jonathan Wells, but this pretty much have been addressed here, debunked icons. Jonathan Wells calls it icon of evolution. But now the data reports a recently published Nature paper has overturned this previous claim, and et cetera, et cetera. But I do want to point out here, here's the results here. The results are groundbreaking. At least 12.5 to 13.3% of the chimp and human genomes represent a gap difference between the two genomes. That means that there's a gap in one genome compared to the other, often where they are so different that they cannot be even aligned. There are also significant alignable sections of the two genomes that show short nucleotide variations, which differ only by 1.5%, which can add this different we can add this difference to the gap difference and calculate a 14% or 14.9% total difference between human and chimp genomes. This means that the actual difference between human and chimp DNA is 14 times greater than the often quoted 1% stat. Okay, but here's the thing. A lot of people keep have in the past, and maybe you're still pushing this stuff, like the science guy Bill Nye talks about this, that our understanding of DNA has increased. We have come to understand that we share around 98.8, almost 1%, almost 99% of our genome sequence with chimps. Smithsonian DNA is especially important to the study of evolution. The amount of difference in DNA is a test difference between one species and another, and thus how closely related they are. While the genetic difference between individual humans today is minuscule, about 1.1%, on average, the study of the same aspects of chimp genome indicates difference about 1.2%. Then it goes on, it gives a bunch of other sources too, from Nature, National Review, American Scientific, Museum of Natural History, Science, National Geographic, 96%, 99%, 98.8%, 98.5%, 99%, 98%. So a lot of people were referencing this, and it's not true anymore. We know it's not true. It's closer to probably 84, 85, 86% similar. And that kind of throws the whole Darwinian framework of using this as an argument of common ancestry for this specific argument out of the um, um, out of the pool of arguments that can be used. Let's just put it that way, because the difference is so great that it's hard to argue that evolution could have got this distinct difference in that short amount of time, when supposedly chimps and humans were bifurcated from their supposed common ancestor. So I think it's long gone, it's long overdue to just overturn that icon of evolution. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and tell me your thoughts down below. Also, check out in the description below the reasons why I think science points to the creator. I have a quick guide that's yours if you want. So just go there, click it, and talk to you later. If you like this, hopefully you'll see you next time.